On the morning of June 1st, I made a commemorative 1 month in the van breakfast consisting of grits, pork, eggs, seaweed, and coffee.
It's breakfast with the view.
Yes, because we stayed at a boat launch in Rockford, Illinois. It was just a big open parking lot. We just parked behind a stack of docks, and it was nice.
And later that day, we went to the library.
Yes, and for you, it was an especially shocking experience because I went to the library first, and COVID restrictions were in full swing, so it was you're only allowed to be in there for 50 minutes maybe or something like that. And
it's a tiny library too.
It was okay sized, but there was like pretty much one room with computers, and the librarian, I had to explain to her, I gotta get on my laptop and do some work. She's like, okay, well, there's nobody in here now, but so it's okay. But if people come in, we have to enforce the 50-minute rule or whatever. And I said, okay. And then finally Shirley came in and I explained, and then so I was like, okay.
Yeah,
so,
I was at the far corner of the room.
Right.
I think you were on one side, and I was on the other side facing the wall.
Right, on the other side of this computer room. And so I already feel like we're trading on eggshells. And then all of a sudden, so I sit down, I'm like, okay, all right, let's sort it out. I can sit down and get some work done. And I sit down, and I see this huge pop, like this huge bang noise. And I look over, and Shirley looks like she'd seen a ghost.
Yeah, I was so scared.
And then I realized she was holding a 12-volt outlet, and I knew what happened because, you see, in the van we have 12-volt outlets. So we bought 12-volt chargers for our laptops. And then for some reason I had a spare 12-volt outlet lying around. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was lying around. Of course, anyone would just pick it up and be like, oh, cool, it fits right into the wall.
Right, so she plugged the 12-volt charger into the outlet and put the outlet into the wall because somehow, I don't know how, but it fits into a wall. It shouldn't, but it does. And so it's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Like the 12-volt charger got 120 volts in the face, and then it blew up. And it took down a whole bank of computers. It must have, I think, luckily it just tripped a circuit breaker, but all these computers went down, and I was just like, oh God.
Hey, you were not there where there was this big spark.
Hell no. This must have scared the bejesus out of you. But then all of a sudden, like, the computer lab monitor guy, he's like, all right, what happened? And he walked over. And of course, almost instantly, I realized what had happened, but I had to keep my mouth shut, lest I plead, oh yeah, I know what happened. Yeah, she just probably plugged a 12-volt plug into the wall and probably, destroyed, possibly caused computer damage. I couldn't admit any of that, so I had to say, and then she's looking at me saying, what happened? Why did it do that? And I just said, I don't know. I have no idea what happened. I am completely as baffled as you are, even though I knew. And then, well, anyway, so then they had to call the maintenance guy, and, we both got back to work. Of course, I was sitting there looking like a naughty child, and the librarian apologized to us.
Yeah.
She said, I'm really sorry about that. I said, look, lady, no, believe me, no one's sorrier than me. But anyway, so we just, we made up, and then we went back to work, and then the maintenance guy came, and he probably just had to flip a circuit breaker, so all was well. But it was, quite a tale.
Yeah, one heck of a time for me, at least.
Yeah. And then later we went to this park. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a park just nearby to go eat and stuff. And so Shirley made miso soup, and then we were sitting out on the picnic table eating soup. And all of a sudden this car pulls up, and these two women in it, and one of them goes, y'all sound son? And I was like, what?
Yeah, I did not understand what she was saying. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I was feeling.
And she goes, and then the lady goes again, y'all sound son? And I was like, and I'm usually pretty good at deciphering people's accents or dialects, but this was too much. So I was like, pardon me. I said, and then she said, y'all sound something? And then I realized, oh, okay, she's inquiring if we are peddling something out of our van. To which I had to reply, oh, no, we're not. We just live in here. So, but it was okay. It was okay. They took it fine, and they asked if we made it the van ourselves. I said, yeah, and they were really impressed. So that was that.
Yeah. It's always been the joke now.
Right, because actually there's been at least one other time or maybe twice that people have asked if we were peddlers of sort, because it kind of looks like we have some sort of traveling caravan where we sell our goods, but we don't.
Yeah.
Could be a good side hustle, though.
That's true.
One of the best things about living in the van is how spontaneous you can be sometimes. We were just driving along in Illinois, and I saw the sign for the Apple River Fort. I thought, oh, we gotta check that out. So yeah, we did. It was it's a free visitor center. It was a fort erected around the time of the Black Hawk Indian War. That was in the 1830s. And it was just another dispute between settlers and the Native Americans, between, their rightful lands and settlers encroaching onto it. And, so we parked and walked up to the fort. And this is a recreation, but it's pretty much exactly where it was, and a very faithful recreation from what I understood. So you can see the log wall, you know, the cabins and stuff. And a battle took place here between the Black Hawk and the settlers. It's pretty wild. It's something we can't really picture today, I think, what it was like to live back then.
I guess like a couple people lived at this fort. How they were just like looking out for the...
There may have been houses nearby too. I can't exactly remember. I believe there was women and children there. In fact, I think I read how the women and children were helping either form lead musket shot and passing the men up more bullets and stuff. So it's one of those. I don't want to exactly call it a gray area because the settlers shouldn't have been encroaching on their land.
Yeah.
But then again, they're sort of just. They think they have the right to this land, but really the Native Americans were there first. I do remember the walk up to the fort. It kind of posed questions as in, what would you do if you were these settlers? How would you feel? Of course, today in hindsight, we can see that they were. We can certainly say they were in the wrong for encroaching on the Native Americans' territory, not peacefully sharing the land or what have you. But then again, to put yourself back in their shoes, I could see why they would be defensive for what they thought was their life or land or whatever. So then as we drove on, we pulled up to a Scenic Overlook rest stop, and that's where we ate. It was Scenic. Now time for the mines. Back at the Apple Fort, I did pick up a brochure for the, I think, Badger Museum mine tour in Shullsburg, Wisconsin. It was a big lead mining town. So there's this great museum, and then the mine tour. And the museum had like every sort of artifact you could imagine from back in the day when the settlers were, settling there. Agricultural equipment, like blacksmithing tools. They had, I think, an old dentist's chair, doctor's equipment, household utilities. It was really cool. Yes, the constipation solution.
That's what you need.
Can you imagine? No, I don't need that. Oh yeah, there's the doctor's buggy. Yeah, this was an old hotel sign that got shot up in a bank robbery. You can see the bullet hole on the right side. This was the living room or some furniture of, at this point I can't remember, maybe some wealthy resident of the town. There's an old mine hoist. And yes, this is a pretty good model of what some of the mines would have looked like. And the mine was staffed by a few high schoolers, and so they were the ones that took me down to the mine. The mine, what I remember, it was maybe probably before the Civil War or around this. It was mostly Irish and English immigrants that kind of just came here and they ran these lead mines, and they went all under the town. So yeah, they did a great job of giving me a tour, and the tunnels are all hand dug. Hand dug, and they had dynamite, but no machinery.
Small side tunnel. Now the thing is about lead is that it runs. You didn't have electricity, of course, and
then at one point, I asked the tour guides if they had ever heard of any sort of tunnel collapses or anything like that around town. And yeah, sure enough, I think sometimes people's backyards would sink. I think one time a football game had to be canceled because the fuel started to sink.
No way.
Yeah, that's what they told me. Because they went to high school. I think we may have driven past their high school too.
Oh.
I definitely saw a picture of it. It was an old building, but a really cool old brick building. Yeah, talk about a great summer job. They seemed like they really enjoyed it, and they were just really good at the tour.
Yeah, I bet it's nice and cool down there.
It was, yeah.
Because I remember it was a really hot day.
Yeah, it was cool.
I stayed
and damp.
behind in the van.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, you didn't.
So that's all new to me.
You didn't wish to venture into the mine.
No.
Yeah, he told me some funny stories about donkeys eating dynamite and then that kind of thing. And I think at some point there was a dog's bone or a dog's skull, which was a good luck charm. Anyway, but then we toured the town of Shullsburg, which was really cool. They had at least one, but maybe more, Civil War era wooden buildings, which is just really crazy to think about. And yeah, we saw them. It was cool. And they had a cheese making place.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, you could look in the window and see them going at it. It was just a cool, a cool small town.
Yeah, this was the first time I went to a town. We're pretty much deserted, but like beautiful architecture with like not many cars, not many people, and it was just very scenic in that way.
Yeah, it just has that small town vibe.
Peaceful. Yeah, nice and peaceful and clean too.
Yeah.
So it just has hit all the right marks.
Yeah.
The only town that we ventured in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it was a detour, but it was one I'm glad we took.
Yeah.
After the mine tour, we made it to Galena. I walked around the town, and then we had to find somewhere to stay for the night. Well, that was easier said than done because the Walmart didn't allow camping. I think we checked out a boat launch. There was no camping there. We basically couldn't find anything. I found this park, and it seemed, pretty deserted, whatever.
Yeah, we were the only car there.
Yeah, it didn't say, no overnight parking or anything like that, so I thought we'd give it a try. Well, lo and behold, maybe it was around midnight. I think I was reading. I shut the light off and I was laying in bed for a while. I heard the crunch of gravel. I think I heard a dog barking and a canine unit, I should say. Lo and behold, a police officer came up and, he asked us, or pretty much told us, we weren't permitted to stay inside the city limits. But he was really nice. He just said, he let us, given that it was so late, he let us stay the night. But, he took down my info, no big deal. And, that was that.
Yeah, but that was our first time having been, I guess, caught or just not allowed to stay somewhere overnight.
Yeah, I mean, we've been lucky so far. And again, he was really nice. He was just, doing his job. They just made it so darn hard for, RVers to find a free place to boondock. So,
yeah.
I guess we should have stayed in an RV park, like a normal RV. In hindsight, we're just trying to save a couple bucks here.
Yeah.
But
we still have a restful night.
Yeah.
Despite the fact.